Howdy y'all! So today on this episode of Drag 101 here on my channel, we're gonna be talking about foundation, contouring, and highlighting. And some blush, because I love some blush. Before we get into any of that, we have to treat our face with some kindness and some love, and we have to moisturize and prime. The moisturizer I like to use is Murad's Anti-Aging Moisturizer. They have a more heavy-duty one, the Hydrodynamic Ultimate Moisturizer. And before I even put it on, I like to wake up my face and freshen it up. And the way I do that is I use the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. Now my face is like awake, it's ready for the moisturization. And don't forget your neck. If I notice my eyes are a little baggy, maybe I didn't sleep well, maybe I've had a little bit too much fun lately. I like to use the MAC Fast Eye Response Cream, and I'll apply a little bit under my eye and a little bit on top. Now we're gonna use the e.l.f.'s Mineral Infused Face Primer. You're gonna want one that works well with your foundation. If your foundation's water-based, you're gonna want a water-based primer. This Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. So I like to do my under eyes. Really helps with my undertones and helps cover the things I wanna cover. Really brighten that up underneath there. We're gonna be going down here. I'm gonna take the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. Just gonna dip it in. I'm gonna dollop it all over my face real quick. Don't forget your neck, y'all. Before we blend this out, I'm gonna reactivate the foundation and the concealer with the setting spray. This helps blends in the product as well as make sure it lasts all night. So in the big areas where we have the foundation, I'm taking the butt end of the Beauty Blender, okay? This part, okay? Not this part. The technique to blend is you're dabbing. You're not swirling, you're dabbing. Notice I've not gone into the concealer area yet. I've just gone with my butt and kind of gone to the outside edge of where we put the concealer. I like to use a warmer foundation for the sole fact that I lighten up so much with the highlighter that the end result, it's warm and fresh and light. What we don't want is a 50 Shades of Beige situation. That means, as Willem says, that like your foundation doesn't match your hands, doesn't match your breastplate, doesn't match your tights. You kind of want to look like you are always all of this one whole color. Now I'm gonna take the tip part and I'm gonna blend it out. Up in here underneath my eye. Now we're blending that out with the tip. So now we have the foundation and concealer all over our face. So matching your foundation, my suggestion to you is going to your local MAC counter, talk to a makeup artist there and say, hey, this is my skin type, I get oily, what's a recommended foundation and can you help match me? And they will take the time and match you. And the great thing about MAC is that you actually can go in and get a little sample. Let's just say you're a queer individual or a trans individual that are just trying to discover themselves. I just wanted to say, go in and ask. You'll find people that are there ready to help you. And if they're not, fire them. Get that fired. Now we're gonna highlight. So now I'm gonna take this and then we're gonna do our T-zone. So what that means is there's a T, like a lowercase t, okay? You see what I'm doing there? A T. I'm gonna start with the chin. And I'm gonna go to the apples of my cheek and I'm gonna swipe up. We're not swiping down. We're not going across. We're not going down. We're swiping up. We're trying to elongate things and feature things. Contouring to be more masculine is a little bit different. But who's to say you couldn't be a little femme drag king, you know? And now I'm gonna take this on my nose. I'm gonna go up here with a little white. We're also gonna take it right here on our chin and we're gonna go kinda to our outer quarter of our lips. You do too much, you can get very pale, which works for some makeup looks. Now we're taking the tip of the Beauty Blender. I'm dabbing and I'm smiling to make sure like I'm not going down. I'm making sure the balls of my cheeks are being highlighted. You see that? That pop? That's what we want. And the chin, I'm not going up to the lip. I'm just kind of protruding my chin. You don't have to do this part if you already got a chin. You could do harsh lines if you want. See, I like this compared to this. This is better for film and TV. This is better for stage. If I was on stage at Pride and people were thousands of feet away and still needed to see that my cheek was highlighted, that's what we do here. Now, nose contouring and highlighting is specific to you. How I do my nose, I learned it from watching Detox, iconic drag queen. I would try to find someone who has a nose similar to you and see if they have a makeup tutorial, because that's how you're gonna figure out how to do yours. So I highlight the bridge of it and I buff out with the tip and I blend it up into the top of my forehead and I buff this out. And now I'm taking the butt and blending this out. And now we're ready to set this all with some loose setting powder. This is a translucent setting powder. This is what we call baking. And we're gonna do this all over the face. You don't wanna hit the brow because we gotta keep the brows good. And the reason I like a translucent powder is because all of these, it's not gonna ruin what we did underneath. This is just setting what we did underneath. And really set that neck too. Because if we didn't get my neck, we would have missed all that hyperpigmentation going on. We would have missed like the pimples and stuff. Now it's just also an even blank slate, which is what we want. If you don't set it this hard, it will move and budge. Some people like to leave this on forever. I think you look a little cakey when that happens. And cakey means you look like cake flour. So I'm taking a big fluffy brush and I'm gonna buff everything out. I'm swirling the powder into the foundation. We're gonna contour our face. I'm gonna take this is a shark toothbrush, and I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Shady Biz shade of the Sunstalker bronzer. Barely dipped it in. You can barely tell I'm adding anything. That's the key to contour. It's buildable and it looks natural. We're not contouring to the earlobe, we're contouring above the ear where the ear connects to the top, right next to your hairline. With our chin, I like to follow just the natural bone structure of my face. I'm not going on top, I'm going underneath. So the person that taught me the contour is Katrina, the Hurricane Colby. And the way she showed me was taking an index card, and she put it here and we used it as a guideline to kind of contour. And she does fierce contour, mama. You can do a lot with contour. You can change your whole shape of your face. It's very easy to go off the rails and look muddy, but it's also very amazing how contour can make you look like a completely different human being. If the men can find out we can shapeshift, they will tell the church. If you go like this, I can see the bone on my face and get the sides. So I'm gonna take the excess on this brush and I'm gonna go back and forth, up and down like this. Back and forth, up and down like that. So now I'm dipping it back in. I'm adding a little bit more. Then I'm dipping it back in and now I'm going underneath. I'm going around the nostrils and see where our nose ends right here. I'm gonna kind of bring it up into the eyebrow. And I'm doing semicircles on the outside just to kind of blend that in so it looks a little bit more natural. These two darker brown colors in here that I'm going to be deepening what I already did. So I'm gonna dip like 1, 2, and I do one in the darker one. And now I'm gonna darken underneath my bottom part of my nose. Because what we're doing is making that highlight we did there pop forward and protrude out. We're darkening things to sink them in, and we're highlighting things to bring them out and forward. And now we're gonna deepen the contour a little bit more by dipping in the darker browns. And we're gonna start at the very edge right here and just deepen them a little bit. Semicircle motions, semicircle motions. We're gonna deepen also our temple right up here. Contour your jaw is great, but you wanna bring it down to your neck too. So this is with deepening the contour, and then this is a lighter contour. I'm literally just lightly, ever so gently tapping, okay? And that is contour. I'm just gonna smooth out our contour. So now we're gonna use blush. NARS is Orgasm X. So I'm taking just a little bit. I'm just dabbing very gently. And I'm gonna smile. And not applying the blush here. I'm applying the blush kind of literally right on top. I'm also gonna do it up here because I'm an 80s girl. I like blush all over the face. That's just my fantasy. Okay, I'm gonna do it on my jaw too. Blush adds dimension to the face. So I'm taking it to my temple, I'm slowly building it out. Notice I'm not going into the highlighted area. I'm just sticking to where we basically applied that contour. Don't forget this top part of your face too, the crown of your head. Now we're gonna go with highlighter. Now my highlighter palette has sadly broken. Everyone say, "Aww." This is a Pat McGrath Mothership 5. I highly, highly suggest this palette because it's very universal. You can do a lot of things with it. As you saw earlier, we contoured with these two shades. If I wanted to, I could have used this red as a blush. I could have. A beautiful highlight shade, imagine that. Applying a really light setting spray is really beneficial because it takes all those powders we applied to our face and kind of melts them into the skin. I'm taking a highlighter brush going into this highlight, this beautiful eyeshadow, and I'm gonna hit this part of my cheek right here. I'm also gonna take this and do my chin. I'm gonna do this into my temple a little bit. I take a little brush and I do the top part of my nose, my little tippy part of my nose, and I just swipe up a little bit. We're gonna use the Snow Flushed Blush Highlighter. Look at my smile. Look how that pops through the camera. It's so natural. It's not natural because it's like a crazy shimmer, but it just gets that cheek, it gets the light, and it makes me seem super cute. If you have a palette with similar shades, you can do this too. I could have contoured my entire face with just this shadow. It would just been just as fine. We did a lot today. We did our foundation, we did our contour, we did blush, and then we did highlight. We walked through all the different processes on how I do it for my face, but I hope you, while you're watching this, you either learned how to do it or learned something you wanted to try, or maybe a new technique that you'll apply in your everyday makeup. But if you wanna do drag, this is drag, contour, highlight, and foundation. Okay, babies? If you wanna know other parts of the makeup process, I'm doing this Drag 101 series right here on my channel. So make sure you hit subscribe, like, and comment below on what next process you would like to see me cover. So if I went a little fast for you today, watch it in half speed or rewatch the video again, and I promise you that you'll get this good soon.